going to cover the basics of JavaScript arrays. Think of an array as a list of items. Within that list, you can place strings, you can place numbers, you can even include objects or other arrays. For this demo, though, I'm going to cover just the basics, and we're going to create an array with a list of coding languages that we're using here on CodeDigs. So down here in my array demo function, I have a variable named coding languages, and I'm setting the value of that coding languages variable to an array. You start an array with a beginning square bracket and an ending square bracket, and then all of the items that you want within that array, you separate each item with a comma. So I have a list of strings here in my array. You can place numbers also in your array if you wanted to. You just don't surround those with quotes. But for this demo, we're going to just use a list of strings, which will be our programming languages. You can then pull out the different items within your array by calling the array name, what you named your array, which is coding languages, and then specifying the number of where that item exists in the list. And JavaScript always starts these at 0. So if you specify 0, you're going to be pulling out the first item in the list. If you specified 1, you're pulling out the second item. If you specified 2, it would be the third item, and so on. So this would be 0, 0 would pull out HTML, 1 would pull out CSS, and 2 would pull out JavaScript. Let's demonstrate how that works. I'm going to do a document.write, and let's pull out the first item in the array. Okay, you see that it writes out HTML. If I want to pull out the second item, I can change that to 1. Let's refresh. Pulls out CSS. So 0, 1, 2. So if I wanted to pull out JavaScript, I would change my array number to 2. And now it's pulling out JavaScript. Let's demonstrate how we can write out all 3 of these items. So now I'm doing a document.write, and I'm pulling out 0, 1, 2. I'm adding a break here so you can see how these will actually show up on separate lines. Let's test that. Okay. The other nice thing about arrays is you can loop through an array using a for each, which we'll learn more about in a future tutorial, but you can loop through all of your items in an array and display them on the screen or use them within your program. So I'm going to demonstrate that real quick here. You'll see here I'm basically looping, doing a for each that's looping through this coding languages array, and then I'm writing out each of these items. There you go. So if I wanted to add another item to my array, maybe another programming language called Python, and I run my code again, you'll see here it's picking up whatever items that I have in my array. And that's the basics of array. We'll cover more in future lessons, more advanced features of an array, and we'll talk more about that for each loop too. You'll learn a lot more about that.